on, people? Welcome to another episode of Kai and Ichi's MMA Hour, where two goofball fans word spar on the fastest growing sport in the world. I am one of said goofballs, Kai Schwartz, and of course, I am joined here by my good friend, Mendy Ichi Ichalovich. What's going on, my dude?
What's going on? Everything all right?
Yeah, sorry guys, we try to do this thing as a live show, but we're still new at this and we keep running into technical difficulties. So for tonight, we're going to record it offline, and then we are going to upload it to YouTube. You should see it a few hours after we're done speaking.
For sure. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. We're trying to figure it out.
All right, so let's get right into it. UFC Columbus was this past weekend, and I thought it was really good. Although I don't think it hit the same highs as UFC London the week before, I was still very satisfied with the performances.
Yeah, me too. I love the live live fights in person, in stadiums, arenas, whatever you want to call them. I think makes the fans love it even more. They can all go to it, and for the fighters, I think it's even better. It gives it more of a big fight feel, even though it's just a fight night. But gets them hyped, gets me hyped. I think gets everybody hyped. It's much better. For sure.
I like it too. The only downside for me is that I'm just such a fight nerd. I like hearing the coaches.
Yeah, no, you could kind of hear them, but I'd rather hear the fans go crazy. Honestly, that's for me.
So let's start with the main event and work our way down. So the Curtis Blaydes versus Chris Daukus, that was really good. When we talked about this last week, I thought it was either going to be Daukus by KO or Blaydes by decision. I was just judging it off of Curtis Blaydes' last two performances. Mm-hmm. But, I was not going to be enough credit to Curtis Blaydes. He came in and he knocked Daukus out in the beginning of the second round with just this beautiful jab. It was a great performance. And, Curtis Blaydes really came in and reminded that why he's in the top ranks of the heavyweight division, and that he does belong there, and that he does have this well-rounded skill set. And, sometimes he has an off night. Sometimes, it just doesn't pick up for him, but he is still just an incredible athlete, and we should give him more respect.
Yeah, I just don't think that Daukus is nearly on the level or has been through nearly anything that Curtis Blaydes has been through. I mean, if you look at Curtis Blaydes' last 5 fights, I mean, he's fucking fought everybody. He's a monster in the division. He's been in the top 5 for years. I think 2 years he's been in the top 5. So a guy like Chris Daukus just shows the level between anyone that's top 5 and top 10. It's just different. It's just a different level.
Maybe Daukus is going to become that new, what did we call it last week? Like the walls. What did we call it? What was the word we used?
Gatekeeper?
The gatekeeper. Yeah, maybe Daukus will end up becoming the gatekeeper.
Nah, because he lost. I mean, if anything, I would say that Chris Blaydes is the gatekeeper. Blaydes is the gatekeeper because he fights everybody, but he just can't go up for some reason. He's always sticking in the top 5. That's what a gatekeeper is. That he'll fight the lower guys. He'll fight those lower guys. But it's hard for him to really beat the next guy. So he wants a different challenge. He's fought everybody in the top 5. He's lost to them. Now he wants Cyril Gane. He hasn't fought Cyril Gane yet. So I think it was a great call out for him. I don't agree with the interim title shit. I don't see a reason for it. I think that would be just like a number 1 contender fight instead of an interim title.
I wouldn't call it a number 1 contender fight. We'll talk about this in a little bit, but there's just too much of a backlog in the top ranks of the heavyweight division, and there are so many different fights, different matchups that you could say justify an interim title shot. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But first, I want to let's watch this knockout, because I was watching it a few times and I noticed some very interesting things, like in the maneuvers of both of them. Drew, can you play clip 1? Yeah, I couldn't help but notice the technique going in, and I could see where Daukus fucked up.
Yeah, Daukus honestly looked like he was just trying to swing in there, honestly, and that's not. Right. Yeah, it's just a beautiful.
Right, here we go. Yeah, so if you, Drew, so you see he goes in, gets that right jab, and then he just goes on him, and Herb Dean pushes him off.
Cross, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he left himself completely wide open. And with guys like Blaydes, you cannot have 1 inch of openness because he'll eat that alive. Like this guy's been through everybody, you know.
But what's really funny, Drew. Take it back to the beginning. It's really funny. If you look really closely, you can see what Daukus is trying to do. He puts his left hand in front of Blaydes with the expectation that he's going to step back so he can throw that right hook. But Blaydes does not step back. He stays in the pocket.
He stays in the pocket.
And that's why he is able to hit him with that right hand.
100%.
And it's incredible. I mean, it just really, I think that just really speaks to the level of experience that someone like Curtis Blaydes has. Because, again, a more new fighter, I think, would have stepped out of the way. Someone who doesn't have, but because Curtis Blaydes, he's not afraid of getting hit. He got knocked out by Derek Lewis. He'll stand. You don't give a fuck.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. And you can just see. I can see it. I don't know about most people, but I can see the maturity in fighting in him. You know, you can see he's been hours and hours in the octagon. He is not afraid. Chris Daukus, on the other hand, first main event, first this, first that. Everything's first for him. He's not used to this. You know, and pressure is an acquired taste, as they say. You gotta know how to deal with that pressure, and didn't deal with it well. Didn't deal with it well. That's just the fact of it. That's okay. It's a learning curve. It's a learning curve. The only thing you do from this is learn. Go back to the drawing board and hope for the best for the next fight.
What do you think of Curtis Blaydes' suggestion to Daukus that he should move down to 205?
I did see a lot of fat on Daukus that he can definitely lose. I mean, he doesn't have to be a heavyweight. Like, he really doesn't. What did he weigh in at? 230 something?
Yeah,
that's a light heavyweight, bro. And he clearly has a lot of fat on him. He could easily make 205. Get in shape, you're making 205. Like,
I think it's a better move for him because although I could see why he would want to stay at heavyweight because he is rather slow. If he goes down to light heavyweight, I mean, that extra weight that he takes off could make him faster.
It will make him faster for sure.
But there is that risk if his speed does not improve with his weight cut like significantly, he's just not a top ranked competitor because that's the thing. Like Daukus has this incredible like punching power, but he's really slow, and you could see that in the first round too, where Blaydes was just kind of like keep moving around. Daukus was just kind of like sluggishly like coming up to him, trying to throw heavy hands.
Yeah, honestly, if you're walking around 230, don't be a heavyweight. Just don't, because you're not big enough. You're just not. Look at the champion. Champion walks around 300. What do you think's gonna happen to you if you walk in there? The champion walks around 300 pounds, 295.
Monster.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you think's gonna happen to you when you walk in there? You're weighing 235. Like, he can just sit on you and you're done. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not. I don't know. And it's not realistic.
And with Curtis Blaydes, like like I was saying before, him calling for an interim title shot against like Cyril Gane, there's just so many people at the top of the heavyweight division that are really good that can make the case
for
an interim title shot. I mean, you have 5, maybe 6 people if with the sort of like mythical return of John Jones, maybe 6 people that it's like, okay, so you have Tom Aspinall, Tai Tuivasa, Cyril Gane, Stipe, Curtis Blaydes, and maybe John Jones.
Maybe.
You need to put 2 of those 5 people in an interim title fight this year because Francis is out for a year. How do you want to do this?
I think they do Curtis Gane, then they do what do they do? Ty Stipe or Ty Tom. Ty Tom. Yeah. I guess it would be Ty Aspinall, and then I don't think Stipe's just not. Yeah, I don't think Stipe is gonna fight. I don't know. I think he's just waiting for John Jones at this point.
You think but can he do that at his age?
Who? Stipe?
Stipe. Yeah, can he just wait? He's like 38 years old. Should
Yeah,
he
well,
wait? I feel
his next fight will be John Jones in the next few months. They'll announce it.
when?
Summer, maybe after summer, something like that.
Yeah,
We're
I
in
don't know.
March. They have, let's say,
Yeah.
3-4 months for training camp. So if they announce it in April, they have May, June, July, August. They can fight. Why not?
I think it's very funny that DC was trying to get Curtis to call out Stipe, and like
Oh, he
both
was like,
Curtis and Stipe were not interested at all.
yeah, they were just like, I respect the shit out of you, and if I fight you, great, but I'm not gonna call you out, buddy.
I mean, the truth
Yeah,
is that Stipe should have been fighting on that card tonight, on Saturday night. He
yeah.
should have been the main event. He should have. I'm trying to think. Steve, you could have done Stipe versus Cyril Gane on Saturday night. You could have done it.
Cyril's not gonna fight. Cyril's not fighting yet. He just lost. He's not gonna fight yet.
What? Oh God, I feel like how long ago was 270? I mean, not 270.
January.
Wait, did they fight on 270? They fought the same card
January.
as. No, that was Izzy and Rob. Or was that the same card?
Yeah, 270 is gone. The 270 is gone, and yeah, 270 is gone.
Okay.
Looking at the date here, I don't see a date. Never mind.
But yeah, okay, yeah. I guess it's only been 2 months. I see that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's in January. It wasn't. They're not gonna fight. Not that he's injured or anything, but like they don't fight that close. Like they're heavyweights.
Well, the UFC has said they're going to go to France this year. I assume that Cyril Gane is going to be one half of the headline.
For France. Oh, for France. Yeah, for sure.
So
Not even a question.
So you could do Blaydes Gane, depending on when you want to have it.
Yeah. Whenever that card is, they'll probably do Blaydes Gane. Yeah, for sure. I could see that.
Yeah.
100%.
Honestly, I don't think that there's any need to make a quote unquote interim title shot, unless of course it's Stipe versus John Jones. But just let the matches play out, and then decide who you want to fight Francis. Who do you think deserves to fight Francis?
For sure. So I mean, they're gonna have to all fight each other, those top 4 guys, and then the winner of those 2 fights will fight each other, and then we'll get a number 1 contender. Then we'll get the next fighter. But I think I don't know, with Francis, it's so weird because the whole reason why they did that interim title in the first place for Gane and Derek Lewis was because Francis was trying to get more money and he didn't want to fight and this and that. So they kind of like pressured him in a way to like, look, we're going to get another title shot here, like even though it was like 2-3 months after he fought. So it wasn't, they were just trying to like make a example out of him. Like, we don't need you. Like, we have other great heavyweight fighters. We're going to make an interim title in spite of the fact that you understand that you don't want to fight. In spite of the fact that you're looking for more money, we're going to throw that title fight in. Interim title. So I think that's what it was. It was more in spite of Francis rather than a real interim title,
Oh, 100%. I mean, pretty much anyone could pick up on that.
Exactly. So like, there's no need for another interim title. It's not what we're missing here. You know what I mean? We just need to see fights. We need to see the top 4 fight each other, and then winner of those 2 fights fight each other.
Well, you say 4, it could be 5 or 6 because right now it's 5. You got, like I said, you got Aspinall, Tuivasa, Gane, Stipe.
Stipe is not going to fight anyone else besides for John Jones. Stipe is waiting. You don't think
he'll fight Cyril Gane?
Stipe?
Yeah.
No, he loses that fight. He won't take that. He won't take that fight. That's a horrible fight for him.
What about Tai Tuivasa?
He'll win that fight.
So what if he's offered that? Because Aspinall wants Tuivasa, but Tuivasa wants Stipe.
Yeah, but I don't think Tuivasa is going to get what he wants. I think it's going to be Tom Aspinall time. That's the truth.
That's still a dope-ass fight. I would love to see it.
Yeah, of course. Amazing fight. But I think Stipe, in hindsight, is looking at the big picture trying to fight John Jones. Because that's yeah.
It amazes me how much excitement we're talking about the heavyweight division for such a long time. It was just like, it wasn't really that big a deal for the top people. Like, we were just talking about like DC and Stipe
and Francis too, when he lost to Stipe, back in 2018.
Yeah.
But yeah, there wasn't that many people. Now we're getting heavy. I think all the fucking weight classes are just stacked. The least stacked, I would say, is light heavyweight. And even there, we have an amazing up and coming guy that's going to become champion 100%. Yuri. Yuri is a fucking champion, okay? I don't care what you say. He's beating fucking Glover in a second. I'm sorry. He's going to knock his ass out. He's too fast, too quick. Can take too much power. Take too much damage. Doesn't give a fuck. He's going to go forward.
Actually, I'd say the least stacked is actually a women's bantamweight. That seems to be. I understand.
Yeah.
I know that obviously there was that huge upset with Kenya against Nunes, but there's really just not a lot of talent in that division.
It's a hard division to get. It's a hard division to get girls to fight in. Honestly, it's was it 125? Is that what it is?
135.
135. Yeah, it's a weird weight class for women. I feel like a lot of women that they'd rather fight at 125. There's more girls to fight with. There's more women to fight with. And I don't know. I mean, what are you gonna fight Amanda Nunes? You know what I mean? Like, what are you gonna fight? Like, they'd rather just lose the 10 pounds and fight someone else there. There's more stats.
I feel like Valentina Shevchenko is a harder challenge.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I think there's more girls to fight, more women to fight at 130, at 125.
But speaking of women's flyweight, we had two women's flyweight matches here. We have two potential contenders who maybe could have a shot against Valentina. I mean, the first one was in the prelims, Manon Fiorot versus Jennifer Maia. I thought Fiorot had a great performance.
Amazing.
I think that if, out of anyone in the division, I think that she has the best chance of beating Valentina. She's undefeated in the UFC. She is undefeated in the UFC. She has 4 straight wins, and she's just unstoppable. I mean,
she has the perfect body type for MMA. I will say that. Long, lanky, uses her distance very well. All that type of shit. She's like a John Jones in women in a sense. You know what I mean? Like,
she kind of reminds me of Holly Holm. She kind of reminds me of Holly Holm in her prime.
Holly Holm. I think she's longer and taller than Holly Holm, though. I have a feeling she looked like it. She seemed taller and longer than her. But yeah, in that same sense, she throws the kicks. A lot of kicks in that fight, if you remember. A lot of kicks. Great kicker. Kind of has like a karate stance in a sense. Sits low and just throws those kicks. She uses her range really, really fucking well. Honestly, I was very impressed. And she had more control time. I think it's ground time from what I'm looking at here. But just in general, 2 takedowns, 83 significant strikes. That's fucking crazy. 83 significant strikes. That's a lot. She only, you know what I mean? Like, she put a fucking clinic on her. 100 strikes to 56 strikes. I mean,
I'm very excited to see where she goes next. Although there's a backup in the women's flyweight division where everyone in the top 5 is booked for a fight around May time. So she says that she wants to get back in there as soon as possible, but she's going to have to wait at least till September, October, because literally everyone in the flyweight top 5 is booked.
Yeah.
But she called out what was her name? Who the fuck did she call out? I'm retarded. I don't remember. I know it's whoever. Chukagian. She called out.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, but Chukagian is one of the people that she's fighting in May. I think on like a fight night card or something. So we'll see. I think that she will get someone in the top 5 next because she's one of those people I feel like the UFC would want to fast track. So,
for sure.
But she doesn't mind because Jennifer Maia was ranked number 4. She should be in the top 5 in a few days. I mean, Jennifer Maia I think was ranked number 4.
Yeah, number 4, number 3. I don't know.
That was a very good performance. And then of course the co-main event was Alexa Grasso versus Joanne Wood. I feel so bad for Joanne Wood. I like JoJo. She's a really cool person.
No, I
I
like
feel
her
really bad,
personality a lot. Yeah.
but she's 1-4 right now in her last 5 fights. She's just not doing well. It's crazy because she was on track to challenge Valentina, and it just fell apart. And then
She
she's
lost
just
it.
had this slump. She's just had this slump. But I mean, Alexa Grasso, holy shit! She came
Yeah.
in. She came in to get her hands on her. Like it was fucking
Yeah, she
crazy.
came in hot. She came in hot. She came in fucking ready to go. I loved how she fought that night. I fucking loved it. And that's how she's got to fight. Look what happens. Round one submission. I mean, fucking, you can't get better than that, you know?
I think it was round 2. Yeah, it was round 1. Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
round
so
one.
this is
Yeah.
so this is this from this moment you see JoJo like comes in with a body kick and she's like she does this
Whoa.
weird spinning back fist. She's trying to get her to the ground, but in the scramble, Grasso takes control. She gets her back and she just methodically works in here.
Yes, beautifully.
And
Beautifully.
she does and she got it. And it was just
She's
and she even switched
sneaky.
hands and she just kept it there.
Sneaky, very sneaky way.
Taking
I think you can see the difference in ground game right off the bat. Joanne Wood has to work a little bit more on her ground game because it looked very easy for her to grab her back, to get a hold of it, and to finish the fight. So I mean, you got to get better at those scrambles. Especially at this level. It's just look what happens. You know what I mean? It was too easy for her almost in a sense. You know what I mean? It was fast finish, as you can see there. It was just it was a freaky fast finish. Like it's too quick. She's got to get better at scrambles. Her ground game's got to get better. She is mostly a striker, from what I know. And
yeah, I mean she's known what did they call her? Something about her knees. I don't remember the name.
Yeah. She does a lot of kicks and knees. Yeah, a lot of that shit.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
I mean
good.
she needs to work on her grappling.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
I think she should really take some time off. Eventually, if she can keep going and actually start to win again, there is a grudge match waiting in the wings between her and Casey O'Neill because they had some drama at the UFC Performance Institute in Vegas. I don't remember the
No way.
exact. I think it was something over a parking space. I don't remember the exact story, but
Really?
Casey went off on her on Twitter, and I think so. Yeah, so there's like bad blood between them. If JoJo can get her shit together, that would be an amazing fight. I'd love to see
Oh,
that.
for sure. Here, let's move on to some other fights here. I do want to talk about a banger of a fight. The one that we all knew was going to be a banger. Neil Magny, Max Griffin. Super close.
And it got
Super
moved.
close.
And thankfully, because of some cancellations, it got moved away from the prelims into the main card. God answered our prayers.
Exactly, and it was meant to be there from the beginning, and that's why it was.
I swear, the US. I'm telling you, I don't care what anyone says. The UFC saw our last podcast. I'm just gonna. That happens. That's my canon. That's what I'm going with.
There's no other way to say that. Now, I did not think that Max Griffin was going to do so well against Neil Magny. I just didn't think so. For some reason, I thought Max Griffin would have pummeled, fell apart in the pressure or whatever it was, but he didn't. I actually think he won the first round, and might have even. Some judges might have said he even won the second, but clearly Neil Magny won the third.
No, that's what I had. I had it basically the way the judges had it, where I had Griffin in the first round and then Magny in the second and third. But I didn't know how that was going to go on the split decision.
Me neither.
I wasn't sure how that was going to go. I mean, but that was incredible. Neil Magny is really just like one of the biggest grit grinders in the UFC. Just a real hard worker who's willing to fight anyone. And again, he called out Khamzat Chimaev. This man wants violence.
This man wants to get hurt. Is what he wants, because we all know what's going to happen.
I have so much respect for Neil Magny at this point.
So
Like,
much, so much.
give him whoever he can get his hands on. I'm down to watch him fight anytime.
Yeah, but I'm also down to watch Hamza fight Gilbert. So then I have a dilemma in my head. You know what I mean?
No, but that's
both.
gonna happen. But if Khamzat loses, let's say Khamzat loses to Gilbert Burns, Khamzat versus Neil Magny is the best next fight to make.
100%.
That's the next fight to make.
100%.
It's already set up.
Now, I don't think Khamzat ever loses. But again, I'm on the Hamzat hype train, so you can't listen to me about that. You can't listen to me about that.
Never underestimate Durinho. All right, I have faith in Gil. I don't know how that fight's gonna go. I would not put money on that fight, but I think that Gilbert Burns needs to have more respect put on his name. I think. Sure. I don't think this fight is going to be as dominant.
Who has he really lost to besides for the number one pound for pound fighter on the planet?
Exactly.
I don't think he lost to anyone.
Yeah.
He beat everybody along the way.
Big. And he's bigger than Khamzat. Like he's a big, bulky dude and who has amazing jiu-jitsu. Like Khamzat is going to have to. I think that Khamzat is more going to have to rely on striking in this fight going in. I don't think that he's going to be able to go to the wrestling as well as easy as he thinks it is.
No, he knows it's not. He knows it's not easy. He's not an idiot. But
but I'm actually excited. I'm really excited for that fight because we don't very often get to see these wrestlers versus jiu-jitsu artists. For some reason, these matchups are not made too often, and I really want to see. I very rarely, if ever, get to see these like Russian sambo artists go up against a BJJ expert. I never get to see it. I've been waiting for forever to see Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira. Hopefully, maybe at the end of this year.
That's the next fight. That's the next fight. Yeah.
If Oliveira beats Gaethje, but this is I'm very excited for that match. I'm very excited. This division is great, and there's just so many wild cards in it. And don't count anyone out because this is just anything can happen in the fight game.
I do want to ask you something. If Khamzat wins, is he fighting Colby next?
Because
he's not fighting Kamaru.
Maybe
he's not fighting Kamaru.
Maybe either Colby or the winner of Bilal Muhammad versus Vicente Luque.
But wouldn't that be going down for him?
Yeah, but it's going up for the other person. It doesn't because that could also be a top contender fight because both of these Bilal and Luque are both also on tears, and they have good claims. Whoever wins that fight has a good claim to be a number one contender as well.
Yeah, I just don't think the UFC is gonna make him fight someone under. I think to just put him against Colby and see what the fuck happens. I think that's my opinion. Reason why is because they want to get him up. They don't want him fighting down because if he fights down, it gets lower. So they want to keep him up. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's number 11 right now. He's fighting number 2. Not that the rankings make a fucking difference, but I mean, in a sense, it does. You know what I mean?
But I think that if Luque beats Bilal Muhammad, then Khamzat is more likely to fight Colby. I think if Bilal Muhammad beats Luque, then Muhammad versus Khamzat is more likely because Bilal Muhammad has a lot of pull within the UFC. He's a commentator. He has a very strong relationship with Dana, and he's constantly making the case like, "Come on, give me a shot, give me a shot, give me a shot." I think that he'll, with his relationship with Dana, I think that he'll go and be like, "Put me against Khamzat." And I think that he would get what he wants. I don't think that Luque has
he called out Khamzat? Do you think he fucking wants that fight?
He has to have the. I mean, if Khamzat beats Gilbert Burns, he has to take that fight in order to get to the title.
I don't think that they'll do that. I think if Khamzat wins Gilbert Burns, he fights Colby, and then Gilbert loses. That means the winner of Vicente Luque Muhammad fights Gilbert Burns.
Those are all amazing fights. All these fights are amazing. Of course, all these fights are amazing.
But I think that's more of how it plays out. Just from the UFC, they're gonna put him up. Khamzat, if he wins, they're gonna shoot him to the fucking moon. They're gonna throw him to Colby. If he beats fucking Colby, he gets a title shot 1,000%.
Of course. Who could deny him that after that?
Yeah, you fucking beat the #1 guy. You're fucking. That's it, bro. You're off to the races.
Yeah. I mean, that is a crazy wrestling match. Khamzat versus Colby. That's like.
I think Hamzat eats him alive.
Same.
I'm telling you.
And I would love every single second of it.
Oh my god, dude! Did you see what he did to Jack Hermanson? He's a 205er, and he just dragged all.
Jack Hermanson's 185.
Is he?
Yes, he fought Sean Strickland. Remember a few months ago?
So he must have. Maybe he was a 205er. So I remember he was saying that.
Maybe, or maybe that's his walking weight.
Oh, maybe he weighed in at 200. Oh, okay, that's possible because it wasn't a real fight; it was submission grappling. Yeah. I feel that. Yeah. Whatever it is, he's much bigger. He fights in a much bigger weight class. He's much bigger in general. And he ragdolled it, bro. Just ate him alive. So imagine if he was able to strike, he would have just ground and pounded until it was over. Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait for all of it. Let's speaking of potential #1 contender fights, let's talk about what I think, and I think you'd agree with me, should have been the main event. Not the main event, the main event. Kai Kara-France versus Askar Askarov. I loved this fight from start to finish.
Best fight of the night. That's my
fight of the night. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Like give them all. Give Kai all the bonuses, and it's not just because we share it. All right, give him all the bonuses. That was incredible. The way that he was able to dismantle Askarov's repeated attempts at a rear naked choke, incredible. Standing, like just having him on him like that, and Kai just slowly, calmly, just piecing him off of him in the first 2 rounds, and then turned it around, and Askarov could not strike with him.
No fucking way. Couldn't strike with him at all. The level was there. You saw it. You saw Kai Kara-France coming in hungry to fight, dude. And he was not leaving that fucking octagon without winning the fight. He just wasn't. You could see it in his face. And I love that about Kai Kara-France. They all have that at City Kickboxing. They have a fucking animal inside of them, bro, that they're not losing. They're just not gonna they're not taking a loss when they leave the octagon. And you could see it. You saw in his performance. You saw when they went to bang and when they were against the fence, and he just fucking clipped him like 6 times in a row, whatever it was. It's amazing. I was screaming my fucking ears off the whole time.
Same, and so was Izzy. You saw the Izzy reaction?
And of course, it's such an exciting fight. How could you not? You know what I mean? And yeah, exactly. And not even that. Like when he was watching it, Israel was saying like they do these breathing techniques in the pool, right? So it helps them with the breathing, right? So he was like, listen, we've been here before. When he was watching, he was like, we've been here before, Kai. We've been here before. Do the breathing. And when he was like getting choked and he had him on his back and he was trying to pull, 2-on-1, whatever it was, like he was like, just stay calm. And that's what he did the whole time. He was extremely calm, grabbed it down. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, honestly.
I mean, of course, they're going to be doing a Moreno versus Figueiredo 4 probably in the summertime, which I could watch them fight a million times, but whoever wins that fight is fighting Kai Kara-France. I don't care what anyone says. That 100%. Is happening.
Yeah.
Whoever wins that fight, and I am super excited. Like I said last week, Kai Kara-France is actually my personal favorite flyweight. He makes the division a lot more exciting for me. When I first got into the UFC, I did not like this division. I thought the guys were too small. They didn't have knockout power. I wasn't very entertained by a lot of it. My mind has been changed over this last year between the Moreno-Figueiredo fights, from watching Kai Kara-France. Like, I am sold on this division. Like, I'm down to watch more. And I can't believe he gave Askar Askarov his first loss. It's crazy.
Crazy as fuck. He was undefeated. Can you believe that? 14-0. Damn, but you lost to a savage, so it's not like... You know what I mean? He tried everything. He tried everything. Submission. This couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. I mean, I'm looking. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I was just looking at the control time here. Fucking Askar Askarov had 5 minutes and 14 seconds of control time out of a 15-minute fight. That means over an entire round, he had control on it, and he still lost the fight.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
that's crazy.
Let's be honestly, the decision for that fight could have gone either way, and I would have understood. I wanted Kai to win, but I would have understood if Askarov it would have given it to Askarov. I totally understood. That fight was so close. Most of these fights on the main card were very, very close.
Yeah. Funny thing is that it came out as a unanimous decision. So that means everyone thought that he won the fight, which is crazy
Second
to me.
and third rounds.
Yeah, but I guess so, right? I guess so.
Well, the first round, Kai spent the entire time like trying to piece Askarov off his neck. So you can't.
100%. You can't give him that exactly.
Let's talk about the opening of the main fight. I am very sorry to say that Slava Claus has been stopped. And I was very hype on this prospect. You know, I can't even pronounce his real name. Like Vyashalev Borshev something against Mark Diakisi. You know, it's so funny. I see Diakisi. When I watched that fight, I just thought in my mind Nate Diaz's line, "Oh, so you're a wrestler now."
Yeah, pretty much.
Diakisi, he's not known for his wrestling. He's known for his crazy striking. But he just he found a way inside of Slava Claus's defenses, and he just kept taking him down over and over and over again.
Slava
had no answer for him, and
that's what you call a game plan. That's what you call a game plan.
And there's clearly a hole in Slava Claus's game that he's going to have to go back to the well and figure out. You know, I still think that he's a good prospect, and I am excited to see him learn from this experience and come back. He's very entertaining. He's very entertaining to me.
For sure, he's very good. He's very good in general. It's a close fight. Just sucked that he wasn't able to stop any takedowns. I mean, it's really what it was. It's really what it was, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, and then of course we had apparently a hometown hero, Matt Brown, versus Brian Barberena, and these two old guys just fucking went at it, a total bloodbath. Just
for sure.
This is, it's one of those fights where it's like, if you want to get someone into MMA who's like into other combat sports but doesn't watch MMA, like boxing, you're like, show them this fight. This fight, because this fight is brutality. It's 100% incredible. I was speechless. I was just speechless watching it. Really, I was like, how these two guys just beat the fuck out of each other, and big respects to them both. And again, that was a very split decision. That fight could have gone either way. I actually do think Matt Brown won, but even he was like, it's funny. Matt Brown was like, you know what? I now support open scoring because I thought that I was winning the first two rounds, and so that's why I chilled out. Yeah, so that's why I chilled out for the third. But I guess I was wrong. I think that he was just really tired.
I agree with open scoring. You know why? Every other sport, this fucking score. What's going on, whether it's football, basketball, volleyball, whatever it is. The score. So why wouldn't you want to know the score? This is a sport as well.
I'm indifferent. I'm indifferent to it. If they want to have it, fine. If they don't want to have it, fine. I'm not a fighter. It doesn't affect me. If they want to have, I don't care. I haven't heard a good argument against it. So I don't.
Yeah, really, why not? Why not? It's a sport.
It doesn't bother me at all.
You know what I mean? It's a sport. Might as well let them know what's going on. See if they have to play hard or play.
The prelims were mostly kind of not super entertaining, but there was a moment that I just absolutely loved. I am a sucker for spinning shit. I guess, say whatever you want. I know it's kind of ridiculous. Like the idea of these like spinning back fists and spinning elbows, they sound ridiculous. In a real fight, they would be completely ridiculous, but they're just for entertainment value. But when they work, they work. And, Chris Gutierrez versus Dana Baccarel. I mean, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spinning back fist. Drew, can you play clip 3? I've watched this like 100 times because
beautiful.
I'm just a pure sucker.
Oh
my god! Just keep playing the first 5 seconds over and over again. I just want to keep looking at it. Like I am just a sucker here. God. I could watch this all fucking day.
Beautiful.
Like it wasn't as clean as Molly's spinning elbow last week
No,
against Luana Carolina, but it's
but
still just like, oh
it was close. It was close.
yeah.
It was close
I
for
want
sure.
I want to see someone do like a spinning back kick or something. I feel like that'd be stupid as shit, but I want to see
Go watch Wonder Boy. That's what he does. Go watch Wonder Boy's highlights. You'll see that.
Yeah,
He
take
does
a
a
look
lot
at
of that
that.
shit. He does a lot of that
All right,
shit.
yeah. Oh my god. I mean, this. I'm glad that the UFC just keeps improving their roster and they keep getting better and better fights. And it's very rare that I'll have a snoozer in there.
Yeah.
And although they are taking, I feel like it's crazy. They have this big contract with ESPN, and they're supposed to put on. I thought they're supposed to put on like 45 fights a year, but they keep taking
42.
42. Okay, that
I think
makes
it's
more
42.
sense.
I think it's 42
'Cause,
fights because then they have
yeah,
10 weeks off. It's
yeah,
52
okay,
weeks in
yeah,
a year.
yeah. Because I feel like they're off next week. Next week is barren. Next week is an MMA wasteland. There's no UFC, Bellator, PFL, One Championship, or Eagle FC.
There's
Or
nothing.
LFA. All there is like there's some Cage Warriors. If you guys have UFC Fight Pass, you can watch that. But there's really nothing. Like I think next week we're probably going to end up maybe talking about like potential matchups or something. We're not going to have any actual fights to cover next week. But we are going to be here, so don't worry your little heads about that.
We'll still be here. Don't worry.
Yeah. But it's crazy. Like I don't even know what I'm gonna fucking do this weekend. Like I'm not used to not having anything to watch on Saturday.
You can go back to the archives.
Yeah, if when UFC is out, at least I can like if I feel like I want to watch some MMA, at least there's usually like a PFL event, maybe Bellator or something. But I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I heard the reason is because they don't want to compete with WrestleMania, which I heard is this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the reason.
Watch some WrestleMania.
How I feel pro wrestling. I despise pro wrestling, and I despise the relation that people make with it onto MMA, because whenever they see MMA fighters have a beef, they're so conditioned by wrestling, and they're like, oh, it's fake. It's not possible for two people who work in the same industry to hate each other. No,
definitely not true.
But two people that will hate each other until the end of time that work in the same industry are Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal. And although they fought, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago? For Jorge, it was not over.
It was not over. Clearly had some vengeance, had some, some demons you wanted to get out on Colby.
You want to do a rundown of the story?
Yeah, sure. So comes what day was that? Comes like Tuesday or Monday? Was it,
it's Monday, I think.
Monday. Last week, 7 days ago, what happens is Colby Covington goes out to dinner. First has a podcast with the Nelk Boys, Full Send podcast. Shout out to them. Then he goes out to Poppy Steak at night. This is all Miami, where we are. So we know the place pretty well. And what happens is Bob Menery, one of the guys on the Full Send podcast, really good friend of the Full Send people, puts up a story with Colby at Poppy Steak, which is the steakhouse. Now, Jorge sees that, of course. Bob Menery has millions of followers. I'm sure Jorge follows him. Sees that he's at Poppy Steak and eventually shows up to Poppy Steak. Apparently, allegedly, in a sweater and a mask. Is what I heard, allegedly. In a sweater and a mask. And apparently, we can use the word sucker punched from the back, from behind. So Colby did not see him coming. He didn't do it. I'm going to say this here, like a man. Did it in a sense of when he's not looking, I'm going to punch him. This is what I've heard. And he punched him from behind, and then I think he hit him with another one to the eye. Knocked out a tooth. Not sure which tooth. I'm assuming it's one of the front teeth. And then also, I don't know if he fractured his orbital or something happened to his eye as well. So we're talking about a broken tooth, an eye, a fucking just disaster. And there was a TMZ video outside of Poppy Steak of Jorge screaming at Colby, saying, "Don't talk about my kids." Allegedly, don't talk about my kids. so on and so forth. So this is what the story was. Now, Jorge was arrested that night, was put on $15,000 bail. And when
he was
they did
charged with felony battery and criminal mischief.
Exactly. And he was on bail for $15,000. Of course, he bailed himself out. He's a millionaire, not the issue here, and goes home. Now, when they did the reports of the arrest, he did have a broken hand, apparently, allegedly. There was a broken hand involved on Jorge's side. So, as you can see, there was some bad blood there still, and they didn't want it. I guess it didn't finish in the cage for Jorge. And Colby's not a street guy. Let's put that out there. Colby is not a street guy. He's 100% professional. He would never do that outside the ring. He's never had a history of doing that. Now, Jorge, on the other hand, 3-piece in a soda. He has history of doing shit outside of the cage. Worst thing about all this, in my opinion, is that he had the chance to do whatever he wanted to him legally in a cage. Not 10 years ago. 3 weeks before. Now, if you weren't satisfied with your performance there, seems as if something reflected on the outside that you didn't like the outcome of that fight. And as a professional, I don't respect you for doing something like that. I think you should deal with all your emotions in the cage. He said it himself in the fight. Why would I fight you before the fight if I'm not getting paid for it? So I guess he already got paid and said, I got paid and lost, so I might as well go after him as well. I don't know. That's what I don't have a full opinion on it. I just think that Jorge could have handled it better. Maybe ask for a rematch, maybe something. So ask for a rematch. Okay, yeah, you lost. Ask for a rematch. So what? You lost against Kamaru Usman. You asked for a rematch and you got it. So, you know.
I mean, I think Jorge was just looking for. I don't know why. I think the reason why he did the sucker punch was because he probably felt, and I assume this would be a correct assumption, that had he confronted Colby on the streets, Colby would have ran away. Like, I'm 95% sure that Colby, because like you said, Colby is not interested in fighting, not for money, and Colby's whole persona is not real. Like Colby is an athlete first. He's not a fighter first. He is an 100%. Athlete first. He does not have actual, like, the same type of aggression that you see in someone like Jorge. It's more like, I want to make money. This is what I'm good at. I'm going to do it. He has to hype himself up and put on this character in order to go out and fight people. I don't think that Colby is naturally has a sort of a fighter
mentality. Yeah, he's not that type of guy. He's just an athlete at the end of the day. Yeah, definitely categorize him as an athlete. Jorge Masvidal.
Whereas Jorge is a fighter. Yeah, Jorge is a fighter to his core. Grew up on the streets fighting.
Exactly.
And it's crazy to me just because, even though Jorge lost to Colby, like, when you think about what Jorge did on the street, what did he do? He punched Colby in the face a few times. Okay. He did that in the cage. He still, Jorge may have lost. He did rock Colby. He got that really good punch in the face. Like, so I'm not entirely sure what he was set out to accomplish. I think, there's a conspiracy theory out there that the Nelk boys set Colby up, that they're the ones that tipped Jorge off.
No, I think Bob Henry just posted on his, 3.1 million fucking followers on Instagram, and Jorge saw that. And not necessarily they did it on purpose, but he wanted to advertise that he was at Poppy Steak with Colby Covington. He loves Colby. He's a huge fan of Colby. So I think it was just an honest mistake on him. But it's not a mistake. It's Jorge going out of his way, allegedly, to go and do this act. So nobody's in the wrong here. Jorge's in the wrong, if anything.
I think it was, I think I might have figured out a motive. I think that, like, what that would accomplish. I think that because Colby called the cops, is pressing charges to the streets of Miami, that's kind of a bitch move. Yeah. And I think that more people are going to go after him. I think more people are going to try and jump him. I think he's going to either have to hire full-time security or move. Jorge's a local celebrity here, and he's from the streets. He's connected with the streets of Miami. The fact that Colby is calling the cops, pressing charges, wouldn't actually, wouldn't actually stay in the street. But I'm not telling Colby what to do, obviously. I think that Colby is going to end up having to get full-time security or move out of South Florida. I think that is what's going to happen. I don't think this is the last we're hearing of Colby getting jumped in Miami. I don't.
Oh, interesting.
I think that he is going to keep getting. I think this is going to continue to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, I don't fully disagree with that, honestly, but I don't think that that's necessarily something he's really thinking about. I think he's more worried of just Jorge doing another stupid act. But his action, his reaction to Jorge's action, right, is his like reasoning in a sense. So if he presses charges on him, he can't do that again because then he'll really he won't have bail. You know what I mean? He'll be stuck. You know,
No, I don't think
second
Jorge.
time, same person.
I don't think Jorge is going to do that if he allegedly did it the first time. I don't think he's going to do it again. I think that was sort of a one-time thing if it happened. You know,
I mean, he got what he wanted at the end of the day.
I do think that Colby should watch his back. I do. I think that he should watch his back. Look, at the end of the day, Leon Edwards didn't press charges.
Yeah. No, true.
So and that's something that's been brought up over and over again by actual fighters. The thing is, like, every fighter that I've seen talk about this on Twitter, they're like, Jorge shouldn't have done that, but Colby's a bitch for calling the cops. Like, he's not about this.
Well, okay. Well, now listen. Knowing Colby, knowing who he is about money. He's about fame. He's about all that. You know what I mean? He wants to just be a star, right? That's what he's looking to do here. I think this is more of like, you're such a bitch that I'm gonna take money from you, in a sense. On you know what I mean? Like, you're such a bitch for doing this, and you called me off guard. I didn't even have a chance. Like, I think, like, okay, so I was talking to guys in my.
Colby would have run away. Colby would have run away.
Okay, that's fine. But as a fighter, right? As a guy that trains, me and the guys in the gym, we're all talking. We all know how to fight. We know that Jorge knows how to fight. We know that Colby knows how to fight. It's not the issue here. I just as a person, if Jorge would have walked up to him and said, Colby, me and you outside right now, let's go. That I would have respected. You know, that's fine. Because then you ready, let's fucking go.
Yeah, I agree.
That's way different. And then he beat the shit out of him, okay. But you're right. You're right that Colby would never accept that. But as Jorge doing that in the first place just shows that he's a bitch. Like, he should have just been like, come outside 1 second. I'm gonna be calm right now. Come outside. Me and you outside right now as men. Let's fight this out.
I wouldn't call him a bitch. I wouldn't call him a bitch just because of their history, and also because you live in the same city as Jorge Masvidal, and you train at the same gym as him, and I would not use that language when describing him, considering who he is and what he does.
Yeah, but for that action, I mean, I have to say the truth. Yeah. I mean, why didn't you just walk up to him and say, hey, let's step outside 1 second. I know you're at Poppy Steak. Let's step outside 1 second. See what happens.
Yeah.
That's different. But everyone agreed with me. Everyone said the same thing. Why didn't Jorge walk up to him like a man and say, let's step outside and do this?
I don't know.
You know?
I don't know. I guess I think we'll probably find out later. More stuff will probably come out about it. This is still new, and this is a criminal case. That who knows what'll come out and what'll happen, and we don't. At the end of the day, we just don't really know enough to understand the mindset of Jorge or understand even really what happened in full. Like, I think we just need to wait for the court case and see how this all plays out and see after it what both of them have to say about it.
I hope they have footage. I hope they have footage in Poppy Steak of this. That'd be dope. Then we can see it.
Yeah, but one of the things, they weren't the only people this week that got into an unauthorized little scuffle, because last night? Today's Monday, so last night, Will Smith decided that he's a fighter, and he walked up, Chris Rock made a joke about Will Smith's wife Jada has alopecia, which means like she has no hair, and Chris Rock made fun of it, and then Will Smith laughed at it until he looked at Jada and saw that she wasn't laughing, and then Will Smith made the decision to just get up there and just slap Chris Rock across the face in the middle of the Oscars live. And I don't,
let's just say Chris Rock didn't press charges. Just wanted to put that in there.
Yeah, just want to put that out there. Okay, Leon Edwards didn't press charges. Chris Rock didn't press charges. Colby Covington pressed charges. So just gonna put that out there, Mr. Liz in Fort Lauderdale.
Well, he also didn't break his orbital or whatever the fuck happened with his eye allegedly, and didn't break a tooth. So it's a little different than a slap.
All right. It really annoyed me, the sort of disparate treatment these two things got on Twitter from people in the fight world. I think, the worst, I think, is Michael Bisping. I'm a big fan of Bisping. I watch his podcast and I watch his YouTube channel a lot. It's probably my favorite MMA sort of source to use. And on Thursday, he literally spent an hour and a half on a live, criticizing Jorge, being like, I understand where Jorge's coming from and Colby shouldn't be talking about his family, but, what Jorge did was wrong and he should face the consequences and people shouldn't do that outside the ring. This is a respectable take. I understand. I'm like, okay, I understand.
I agree with that.
I understand. And then last night, Bisping tweets out, Will Smith is a fucking legend. And I'm like, first of all, buddy, you don't know what he lets other men do to his wife. So I would not maybe use that language. Second of all, you literally, and I responded to Bisping on Twitter. I'm like, Mike, you literally spent an hour and a half on Thursday telling us Jorge was wrong and should be punished for a very similar situation with Colby. Why is this assault okay? And I barely, I don't get a lot of likes on my comments on Twitter usually, like it's some, but like I got 663 likes on this post. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you're gonna say one thing about one guy, stick to your gills, man. Say the same thing. Stay true to who you are. But I guess it's more of I think it is the same situation in some ways, but it's also a little bit of a different situation. To be totally honest with you, I think a slap is very different than a sucker punch. He literally walked up to his face, and you could see Chris Rock put his hands behind his back, and then he gets slapped. So it's like,
he didn't know he was going to get slapped. He didn't know he was going to get slapped.
Yeah, of course. But he walks up to you in a clearly pissed off manner. Chris Rock should have thought a little bit and been like, fuck, something might happen here. I mean, obviously he didn't expect a slap, but he should expect something. No man just walks up to you like that and just, gives you a hug. That's definitely not after you know what I mean? After you talk shit about his wife.
He could yell. He could yell it. I don't know. I felt like he was going to yell at him, get up in his face, what you say, the fact he just slaps and sits back down and then starts yelling is kudos to Chris Rock for the way he played it off, super professional.
Chris Rock is the best, one of the best comedians of all time, for sure.
I think that people like Bisping that were tweeting in support of Will Smith, criticizing Jorge, I think it was just a spur of the moment. They're watching it live and they're just shocked and they just put out a dumb statement and they have it. I was probably the first person or one of the first people on MMA Twitter to make the connection between these two events and be like, wait a minute. All of you were shitting on Jorge at the beginning of this week. And now you're saying that Will Smith is in the right here? Get out of here.
Yeah, I think I actually might agree with those people, honestly. I think Jorge was wrong and I think Will was right. It's very different in the sense of he didn't have the chance to do it 2 weeks before. Will Smith just did it out of impulse. Clearly, he just apologized for it on Instagram just a few hours ago. So he did apologize.
That's just damage control.
Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, he didn't have the chance to legally beat the shit out of him and do whatever the fuck he wanted to him in a cage. In their underwear, and decide.
So let's go. Let's go. Will Smith, Chris Rock, celebrity boxing match. Let's go. Let's do it.
I'm not against it. I just don't think he'll do a lot of views. Honestly, just
dude,
not.
I'm telling you. You don't believe me. I'm telling you. Get any two celebrities. Tell people they're gonna fight for money. That money will pour in.
I don't disagree. I just don't think it'll be an entertaining fight.
Okay,
why?
Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson wasn't entertaining, but it still did a ton of money.
No, there was a knockout. Now, I think what's going to happen is Will Smith did train boxing for the Ali role when he did the Ali film. So he has some boxing experience, I guess. Chris Rock, let's be honest, not have hands. He has no reason to have hands.
Clearly has a chin. Clearly has a chin, though.
Chin does have a chin. He might pull a Chris Moutinho. Who the fuck knows? But I wouldn't want to watch that. That's not what I like to watch. I like to watch the best in the world fight the best in the world. That's what I like to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I can't agree. And you
Yeah.
know, it's so funny. You know, who knows who we'll see next fighting. I feel like celebrities though are more inclined to try and get in on this celebrity boxing game.
Of course. Did you watch Jorgen Brunson, Thor, against Eddie Hall?
I didn't see it, but
Crazy.
I've heard people have been talking about this to me for like a week. And
Very entertaining fight. Like they dropped each other like 2 times each, I think, or 3 times. Like crazy drops, like because they're so powerful. You know what I mean? One shot and it's over, bro. It's
I'll
over.
have to check it out. I'll check it out. Well, we're getting towards the end, but before we go, I have this random ass clip that I found on Twitter that made me laugh for like 10 minutes straight, and you need to see it. Drew, can you play clip 4 with sound?
Okay, what's this?
So read the caption. Every Chael Sonnen video in a nutshell. Oh crap! Is there no sound?
Yeah, I don't think we can hear it, can we? Oh, that sucks.
Because Drew is muted. Drew, unmute yourself.
I guess unmute yourself, yeah. No, still nothing, huh?
Still not working. Oh, that's sad. That makes me sad. I really wanted to see this. It's basically this dude talking like Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
Like just basically saying that like because of the way he speaks in his voice, even though he has nothing important to say, you're paying attention because of the way his voice sounds. And it's 100%. Funny enough that the reason I found it is because it was quote tweeted by John Jones, which is fucking hilarious.
So funny. It's so funny. I love that. It's so true. Chael Sonnen could say anything and it would be like, yeah, right, Chael? And he's like, no, it's completely false. But I just said it because.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm not a fan of Chael. You know, I already don't like heels, and I feel like most of his takes are pretty stale. And he's always looking for like the celebrity take. You know what I mean? Like he's always looking when he gives his takes, he's looking for like the popular take. Like he'll be like, oh, what if like, oh, I want to see Conor versus Nate 3. It's like, all right, buddy, we all fucking do. But
I have absolutely nothing to say whatsoever. And yet, through my manner of speaking, I will make it seem like I do. Like what I am saying is brilliant. And maybe, just maybe, you will feel like you've learned something. I have absolutely nothing to say whatsoever.
And it sounds just like him, too.
I love
so
that.
Funny.
I love that. That was actually really good. I liked that a lot. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's super cool. Funny. All right, well, before we head out, and don't worry, guys, next week, we'll be back, whether you want us to be or not. And, we'll probably still have technical problems then, too. But, we're going to keep coming back because this is fun for us.
We'll figure it out one day, I promise.
We will make you love us. So, before we go, I don't know if you guys can see my shirt beyond this stupid watermark I don't know how to get rid of. But I got myself a free Kane shirt. I'm not going to get into... Cain Velasquez, was arrested also for some street behavior that I'm not going to go into because, 1, I don't have the time, and 2, YouTube will have a shit fit. So not doing that, but you can look it up yourself if you don't know about it. But Cain needs to be freed. He was I think he was arrested with no bail. And this shirt I got from Derek Brunson's website. I'll link it in the description of the video. And for every shirt that you buy, 50% of it goes towards Cain's legal funds. So definitely do that. Cain Velasquez is a legend, and what he did was justice, and I'm totally behind him. So,
hit up the link, buy the shirts, support Cain, and we're definitely in the hashtag Free Cain podcast here, that's for sure.
I put hashtag Free Cain in every video we put up because,
Perfect. That's what
y'all,
it should be.
This is a very important story. For the MMA world and just for people in general. So definitely check that out. Anyways, guys, that's all we have for this week. We will see you next week, and hopefully it will be a better time.
Hopefully, Thank you guys for viewing, subscribing, like, share, do all the things, notifications, bell, whatever you got to do.
You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at C_I_MMA. I live tweet fights when they're on, so you can always check that out.
That's Instagram, that's Twitter, and then who knows, maybe we'll do something else. We'll figure it out. And YouTube too.
Anyways, y'all have a great one.
All right, peace everybody.
Peace.